Everybody, welcome back to the Assistant Desk podcast. Fired up for today. Got another great guest. Things have been going pretty well, I think, so far.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We had a lot of awesome guests so far. Really excited for today's podcast, and
Yeah,
yeah,
we appreciate everybody reaching out on social media. The reshares, the likes, follows, comments, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you subscribe to the show. It helps us grow and get out to future guests. That's the point of this thing, is try to get it as big as we can and learn as much as we can and teach everybody out there listening. But I'm Chris. I coach men's lacrosse at Merrimack College, and I got
I'm George. I coach lacrosse at UMass Lowell.
nice, good job.
Yeah,
You hit that one perfectly.
yeah, nailed it.
But yeah, no, we're fired up. We got a great guest here. I'll let George intro him in, and we'll get going.
Yeah, we're really excited to have Mike Montrose today from Georgetown men's soccer. Something I don't know anything about, so
Same.
I'm fired up to learn and chop it up with Mike today. So, Mike, welcome to the podcast. We're excited to have you. How you doing?
Yeah, good to be here. I'm pumped. I love the idea, and I've been listening to a couple episodes, so I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to kind of start us off here, take us to the beginning. When did you first realize that coaching was something you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, I mean, early on, to be quite honest. So, in high school, my club coach growing up was Josh Shapiro, who's now the head coach of Harvard. He was the assistant at Georgetown, and so he coached me, throughout high school, and then obviously, in college, I played soccer, and then my coach would let me play club ice hockey as well. So that was a big reason I
Those
chose
are
to.
two totally different things.
Yeah. Played ice hockey my whole life. Still muck
Love
it
it.
up in the men's league sometime.
Yeah.
Yes, I played soccer at Dickinson College all 4 years, obviously, and loved my time there. Great coach as well, and I part of my financial aid package was work study, and so I'd work for him in his office, and actually over the summer they had some local events near me, and I just kind of follow him around, and so really fun. And then, yeah, when I graduated, I was like pretty sure I want to coach, but I got this other job offer at like this little VC firm, um, and I took it, and I was like, well, this isn't very fun. Um, and then, funnily enough, Coach Weiss, the head coach at Georgetown, called me, and he's like, I'd worked their camp a bunch of times
Yeah,
when I was
sure.
playing in college, and he was like, "Hey, our volunteer assistant just left. He got a full-time gig. I always thought you'd be a great coach. You're obviously super young. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I just graduated. I accepted this job, but I really don't like it."
I don't
And
want to go. I don't want to
yeah,
go anymore.
Yeah.
and so he's like, "All right, well, we can't pay you any money, but we'll help you out with camps and help you get a club team." And so I was like, all right, I'll figure that stuff out later. So,
Right.
so it was a lot of, I think, kind of fortunate series of events, and Coach Shapiro being my club coach and working the camps with Coach Weiss, and just having a passion for it, and then obviously kind of had a bunch of stops since then.
But I feel like
Love it.
that's a rite of passage in coaching, is you got to get in, I mean, completely at the ground floor,
Yeah,
right? And make your way financially and also coaching throughout however means possible, right?
yeah, yeah,
Whether it's clubs, whether it's, traveling here and working here for 3 weeks because there's 3 camps or something like
yep,
that. So,
yep.
I guess it's not foreign to the soccer world, right?
No, it's exactly the same. I mean, if you played somewhere and they have a kind of a gig,
Yeah.
or something like that, but other than that, it's like, you're like you said, you're getting in on the ground floor, and you're getting your coaching reps in, and in on the field, in club stuff, in camp settings, and kind of earning your keep that way, and meeting people and creating
Right.
those relationships, and all that good stuff. So I think I'm sure those worlds really mirror each other.
That's
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's already check box number one here. Similarities between lacrosse and soccer. That's how a lot of people do start out. So, what lessons from your playing days at Dickinson still influence you as the coach today? Like any lessons that you're like, oh, this is something that I always bring with me. I carried it through.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the relationship piece is kind of the biggest thing that we had at Dickinson. I mean, we were so close, and when Coach was recruiting all of us, we're all in a similar boat. I think soccer, especially men's soccer and lacrosse, are similar in that end, where the D1 and D3 worlds really overlap each other. A D1 roster guy is the same as a D3 kind of starter,
Yep.
on the higher end D3 teams. And whereas I think, probably basketball and football, just physically, there's such a big difference that
Right.
doesn't happen as
Right.
much. But all the guys that played for us essentially had D1 roster spot offers. And it's like, all
Right.
right, you can take that, or you can try to come here and do something special and make some runs in the NCAA tournament and have an impact earlier on, and that's what a lot of us did, which was fun. But I think as far as the coaching piece, I think it's that relationship piece is as an older guy, how do I get the most out of the younger guy? It's not just ripping him a new one every single day. It's knowing who he is off the field and knowing what kind of gets him going on the field. And some guys maybe need a kick in the ass, and then some guys need an arm around them. And
Right.
I think that's what I try to do, and I think that's what the best coaches try to do. Is like you have to toe that line of treating everyone the same and holding that standard every single day in training and in film and all that stuff. But you also need to realize, like, all right, well, this kid who comes from this type of family, like, he can handle a shout, or
Right.
this
Yep.
kid,
Yep.
how he grew up, or the coach that he played for, like, a shout will, I mean, you might as well say goodbye and see him tomorrow. Like,
Right. Right. Right.
you gotta handle him a different way just psychologically.
It's not only the X's and O's, it's managing like the individual, but also that on the grand scheme of like whether it's guys for us, offense, defense, things like that, but the whole team and also where they're at that day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could just have a you could honestly just have a shitty day and you
100.
might not be feeling it, class, social life, whatever it may be, but you got to really try to balance all of that and think of all of that before you deliver some sort of message or insight or whatever it is in the coaching world, right?
100%, 100%. And I think as I've gotten older, and I think realizing exactly what you said is huge. And it's
Yeah.
like, if a guy's doesn't look right, or doesn't, you notice something, is like pulling a guy aside quickly, or pulling one of his teammates aside and just being
Right.
like,
Right.
hey, is everything, like, did you hear about something today? And
Yeah.
we have this, I'm sure a lot of people have it, the kind of the daily questionnaire that they're supposed to fill out every single morning based on how they slept, how they're feeling.
Yep.
Mhm.
Is there anything going on that we should know about, schoolwork, stuff like that? And so that's helpful. But you know how 18 to 22-year-old males can be. They
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes they
Everything's fine,
sometimes
and
yeah,
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
I'm
good.
good. No,
exactly.
totally, totally.
When so you started out as a volunteer, right? And it's come full circle. Um, what has that journey kind of taught you about patience and just perseverance in coaching, like waiting your time and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think for me, like, it's been being around good people and
Yeah.
continuing to learn, and not kind of jumping into something, a head coaching position, because it's a head coaching position.
Yeah.
I know some people that have made that mistake, and they've gone to a place that, it's, if
Might have not been the right fit.
right, exactly. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, it's like every single stop and every single place you are, you're kind of like a sponge, learning a little bit new. And Lehigh had some rough years,
Yep.
but Dean Coach Koski had been there for 25 years, and like the culture's pretty established, but
Yep.
the talent and the discipline piece maybe wasn't there in those few years, and we kind of were able to flip that back. And then had a great opportunity to go to Villanova, which was, first assistant full time, and my wife could go to grad school there, and
Yep.
all that stuff. And so that was a heck of an experience. And the team was, wasn't fully funded scholarship wise, and had a really poor facility, and that started to change. And so you were like, all right, that was a pretty good narrative to send to recruits, and we were able to
Yeah.
make the first NCAA tournament in program history. And their same thing, like Coach Carlin had been there for a little bit. And I think the thing that I would recommend to any assistant, and you can't always control this, is my experience at going to American with Zach Samuel. He had been the assistant at Georgetown for 12 years, and so that's how we knew each other. He got the American gig and called me, and going to a program where a head coach is just taking it over, and
Yeah.
you're at the ground floor, and
Right.
that's what's
Everybody, right?
exactly, and that's what's going to happen when you are a head coach, no matter where you go, and I
Right.
guess unless you take over for someone that's retiring, but it's like that was all right. Like, what are the rules? Like, what are
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. What are we starting
like,
here? What's
yeah,
yeah.
like where are we training? How like it was
You're
brand new
drinking
to
out of a fire hose at that
Ye
point.
yeah, and it's like, man, it was hard, but some unbelievable memories, and we were able to kinda get the program going into a great spot, but that was incredible, just kind of an incredible learning experience to be like, what's it like taking over a program and just
Yeah.
working hand in hand every single day and long hours with Samuel, and then, yeah, obviously the opportunity to come back to Georgetown was something you can't really say no to when I started here, and Coach Weiss has, turned it into, arguably the most consistent team in all of men's soccer over the past decade.
Now you can give yourself a shout out. That's all right.
Yeah, yeah. You
You're
helped us.
allowed.
There you
You're allowed to pump yourself. It's all right.
go.
That's great. When being an assistant and going through different stops and different places, learning different things along the way, what's something that you think people misunderstand about the role of an assistant coach?
Yeah, I mean, I've a funny one geared to non-coaches is like some of my neighbors. They're like, all right, so your season's in the fall. Like, what do you got in the winter and the spring? Like, you just home? I'm like, yeah, it's
You
not really.
hibernate.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Right.
hibernate. Yeah.
that's not how it works. Like,
Yeah,
we're
right.
we're, we're training year round. We're recruiting. We're cutting film.
We got
As you guys know,
jerseys and everything, right? Like we got
exactly.
it
Like,
all.
as any coach will know that.
hmm
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like um it's a hard one for me to fully answer, I guess, but I think it's like the off season is where guys really improve. Like the
Right.
fall is you're trying to win games, and
Right.
Right.
you're cutting the film, you're doing everything for the team. And then the winter and the spring is like that's the individual growth, like
The
the
development.
strides that guys can make, especially when guys are intrinsically motivated and they really want it. It's like, I mean, golly, some of the guys is like we'll have guys that didn't play a minute in the fall that are going to catch
Right.
teams by surprise early this coming fall because I mean the winter and the spring they were big time, and that's kind of the work during training, the work after training, the work kind of in the film room, but a lot of time it's them kind of pushing themselves.
When you so one thing I've always found intriguing, and I'm sorry, George, if I'm jumping around a little bit,
No, no, please, by all means, jump.
but
Just don't jump too high.
if you see, it's obviously a fall sport. You're training year round, like you said. You come back early, I'm sure,
Mhm.
before school starts. When the season's over, what do the seniors do? Because they still have the rest of the year. Like, are you allowed to go practice so you
Yeah,
can fill your day? Like, or do you kind of like filter them out so that the young bloods can get some more time? Like,
yeah,
that's one question that as
yeah,
soon as
yeah,
I knew you were coming on here, I was like, I have to ask this right away.
yeah.
I need to know.
It's a great question. And so different programs handle it different ways.
Okay.
How we handle it and how a lot of places have started handling it is a lot of our guys will graduate in 3.5 years, and so
Okay.
they will get ahead academically, whether it's high school AP classes or summer classes or whatever, um, so that they graduate in December, and then the MLS draft is in January, and that's when preseasons start, and so
Okay.
So that's one reason guys will do it. The other reason is financially. And
Yep.
so what we'll do with a lot of our guys, and a lot of places will do this is you'll give them for their senior year, like a little carrot at the end is
Yep.
you give them 50%, but it's a full for the fall. And
Right.
Got
so,
it.
so compliance wise, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So they don't pay anything for their fall, but then they're done in
Yeah.
December, and then they can keep, try to work, try to keep playing, whatever. But immediately you're like, well, you've just saved that family, you know,
X amount.
$50,000, and
Yeah.
then you've saved your budget for some of your higher scholarship guys as well. Other guys who don't want to be pros and just want to hang around, they'll hang around and
Yeah.
finish
Do
up.
they turn into the scout team?
Yeah, a lot of some of them will come and train.
Yeah.
We
Like
really,
especially if they're getting ready for draft and things like
yeah,
that. Right.
yeah,
I can
those guys,
imagine.
those guys will. But the guys who are just around for the semester, who still need to finish up, who some of them will come train, but coach he wants kind of the those younger guys to get their
Yeah.
reps in the
Yeah.
spring games.
I don't know if they were already getting into the mindset of like the men's league of like, no, I'm still going to show you, I have it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
Like, yeah, you're still in
The
college. You
the
just
men's league.
finished like 3 weeks ago. I
yeah,
still think you know
You definitely have it.
you still got it, Johnny. I know you still
yeah,
do.
yeah.
So has your definition of being a great assistant evolved over the years? Like all your stops, like, your first one, I'm going to be a great assistant, but has that definition changed as you've made all these stops?
Yeah, I think so, and especially like when when you've had a little bit more experience and you have someone's trust, and it's like early on at Lehigh, it's like I haven't really coached that much, I haven't really
Right.
recruited, and I'm going to work hard and I'm going to do what's asked of me, but it's not like I have anything to stand on right now.
Right.
I can't trust me. Like, it's like, well, what do you trust? I'm 24
Yeah.
years old. But you're gonna, work hard and be like, I like this guy. I think you guys should see him. And so I think with in that role is like more of a support role. And of course with the team and lineups, you're gonna say your opinion. And I think one thing that Coach Shapiro said kind of early on as an assistant, a piece of advice that stuck with me is like, if you're gonna agree with the head coach all the time, then why are we paying you? And so it's like you
It's a
have
great
to,
point.
Yeah.
you have to say your opinion in the right way at the right time, of course, um, but but you're there because inside of that office, it's a little democracy, and you have to
Right.
argue and you have to
It's
do
okay
the
to be wrong,
exactly,
but say your piece.
exactly, have a why of
Yeah.
why
Right.
you're
Of course. Yeah.
supporting. And then, yeah, I think as go to Villanova and these other stops, you're a little bit more, especially at AU, because I've been so close with Samuel as well, and now is like you're a little bit, you're that support role, you're the sounding board for coach, and then I think also like I find myself trying to get in front of things a lot more often so that they don't have
Yeah.
to deal with it, and it's
Right.
like
Yep.
there's a little bit of like all right. Almost like a ladder in a way of like, if the young guy has something, can he take it to the seniors or the captains?
Yep.
If they think it's something that needs to go up the ladder, like, can it come to me or our other assistant? And then
Right.
it's like, all right, can we end it? All right, now this is a little bit more serious. Then maybe
Right.
we'll bring it to coach. But it's like coaches. I mean, head coaches
A
are
little bit of
doing
chain of command, right?
yeah, and head coaches are doing so much. I mean,
Oh my
Absolutely.
god.
and so it's like, can we get out in front of some things, and then maybe I'll just in a staff meeting I'll be like, hey coach, like this came up, I dealt with it, but I just wanted to bring it up so that it didn't take an hour out of his day.
Yep. Looks up, says thanks.
Yeah,
Move on to the next important thing, right?
exactly.
What's so you've been a part of programs, right? At different stages,
Yeah.
right? What's something of like the development that sticks out to you, or common traits of like winning culture and things like that? Like what sticks out to you that you took from each one of like a winning culture, building a winning culture, and developing a program into top-notch team?
Yeah, I think two things. I think the relationship piece that I touched on earlier
Yeah.
is like you can be unbelievably tactically, unbelievable tactically, X's and O's. You can be incredible at video, you can do this, but if you don't have the relationship with the guys, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
Like it's just not going to stick with them. And if you don't have their trust and you're not real with them and you're not honest with them, guys are too smart and they're going to see
Yeah.
right through you. And you know everyone's seen that at some level. And so you got to be real. You got to be honest, even if it's a hard conversation. And you have to have those relationships
For
because
sure.
like it's like the other stuff. It doesn't matter if you don't have those relationships. And
Does that
uh,
start for recruiting you as well? Like
ex-
all the
ex-
way that early, just having
yeah.
someone on campus?
100%, 100%. I think it's just it's everything. Like you could
Yeah.
have the best training sessions in the world, and if you don't have the
Right.
relationships and their trust, like you're just not going to win a lot.
Well, especially in a sport like soccer, I can imagine you guys have some international or a
Couple, yeah,
majority, or
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Especially when
We're less than most. Yeah,
less than most. Okay.
yeah,
Well, see, again, we're all learning here.
yeah,
Everybody,
yeah.
us and whoever's going to be listening is learning. But like, I mean, when you're recruiting an international player, like at Merrimack, we don't have any. I mean, we have people all over the country from
Yeah.
Texas, California, things like that, Washington State and stuff. But when you go into the international realm, I can only imagine like that relationship part
Yeah.
has to be huge because now it's not only mom, dad, or whoever giving you their son for 4 years or a little bit. It's like, hey, by the way, they're also going across the world to play
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's huge in men's soccer. And I think when, Marshall won it, whenever that was 2020, 10 of their 11 starters were from outside the US. I know
Wow.
for Vermont, I think it was 8 of 11. And
Yep.
for us, we're way less. For the main reason is just how we're all built. Kind of just going on your point there is that relationship piece is like you don't get to know them as well as
Right.
when we go to we see a guy as a freshman, as a sophomore, we know his club coach, all this stuff. So the internationals we have, we've either seen them in person or they've come to camp,
Okay.
and they've hung out with the guys and we've met them, and so
Start to
that's
build that relationship on the ground floor there, kind of
exactly.
organically instead of finding them in the weeds, right?
Exactly, exactly, and I think those little like the little touch points that you have with guys while they're here. Like we're Coach Weiss. Some of my other places like we didn't go to the lift as coaches, and it was like, well, the guys are lifting. It's like, no,
Yeah.
like
No,
we're
you
at
got to
every
get in
lift.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we're
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
coaching.
that.
show them you can put it up on the
Well,
bench every
well,
once in a while.
that's true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Gotta let them know.
Yeah,
Let them know you
lower body not so much. Maybe the upper body.
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
know you still got it in the tank,
But
right?
but you gotta have those little touch points. You gotta have those individual sessions. You have to keep growing those relationships. And then I think the other piece is in terms of kind of that winning culture is like is it's what you're doing every day. You can have the sexiest stuff
Yep.
graphic on in your locker room, in your office. You can have all the terminology and you can have everything, but if you're not living it and breathing it every single
Right.
day, then it's it's words on a wall. Like it
Yeah.
Right.
doesn't you're not bringing it to life. And I think um some of the most successful years is like you have senior led teams that
Yep.
they are handling that every single day training standard. When guys show up late this fall, we didn't need to say anything as
Right.
coaches. The
Love that.
seniors handled it, and it
Yeah.
was like an incredible thing. And we were like halfway through the year, and Coach Weiss is like, I'm feeling pretty good. The seniors are running this team right now. Like we're
Right.
just coaching, they're
Yeah.
running the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing kind of to see their goal setting at the beginning of the year come to life. And we were talking to them about the everyday goals, that you can every single person wants to win.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
a
Of
goal,
course. Yeah.
right?
That's
It's
yeah.
every
That's a given.
single. Yeah, and it's so
Sure.
it's so it's like how do we hit kind of the more micro goals of like be the best team every day in training,
Yeah.
like handle your teammates well, hold the standard in technical warm, like all those little things that
Yeah.
the guys ended up kind of putting on their team standards, because here we don't make the rules as coaches, the guys make them every single year.
Love
And
that.
so when something happens, you're like, well, we didn't come up with this, your teammates did. So
You
you're not
you
really.
guys pick this. You guys hold
Yeah,
each other accountable, or hey, you want to get to this level, like you guys picked it, let's put in the work.
Right,
Exactly,
right.
exactly,
Man,
and it's
that's
like,
cool.
how do we have that every single day? And of course, the guys are gonna need reminders, but I think last year's seniors they were incredible with that stuff, and it was so fun to see because we're coaching and doing video, and the
Right.
seniors are kinda running that aspect of the team.
I love that.
That's
That's
so
unbelievable. They say, good teams are coach led, great teams are player led, right? Like, or become
sure.
player led, and that's you guys right there. That's unbelievable. So a little bit on like the recruiting stuff. What are like the biggest mistakes that you see recruits make during that process? I mean, we all have our stories of like, wow, that was a crazy visit, and you just walk back to the office, you're like, whoa, I don't know. What are some of the mistakes in the soccer end that you might see during a recruiting process?
Yeah, from the recruit's perspective.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, like from a coaching perspective, what's a mistake that a recruit might make in the soccer recruiting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the standard ones across sports of just, like, making sure they're handling their visit, not their parents,
Right.
Yep,
things
absolutely.
things like that. Um, I think, controlling the controllables, I think, is
Yep,
a big one for me, just making sure that you're holding the standard on the field and stuff like that, but, I think on the visit, like, we ask our guys. I think sometimes maybe recruits don't fully understand that, when you're coming into any program, you're coming into our family, and in the fall,
absolutely,
in your guys' spring, in our fall, like, we're seeing our team much more than we're seeing our significant others or our kids or
absolutely.
our families, and so it's like, you gotta have guys on the team that you like being around,
Mhm,
and it's
Right.
totally.
no matter how good they are, is like, do you like being around them? Are they good kids?
Right.
And so, when we have guys do official visits, we every single time ask the guys that they're staying with and ask, as many guys as can be around, based on their schoolwork and whatnot. But we always say, like, figure this kid out. Like,
Yeah.
make sure he's
Yeah,
serious. Make sure he's asking, about the right things. Make sure he wants to get a degree. Make sure
yeah,
he wants to win championships.
Peel
Hopefully,
back the layers.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, figure this kid out, and then literally it's afterwards, and it's, how was he? What do you think?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Report.
do you think he's gonna help us win a national championship, or do you not? And
Right,
Right.
right,
sometimes
right.
I think, like, recruits they'll go off with the guys, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm with the guys, I can and it's like, well,
Yeah.
like, they're trying to win a national championship
Loosen
too.
tie a little bit, right?
Yeah, and they're gonna, our guys are, they're fun guys, but, like, they wanna win, and
They'll
Yeah,
and
they
stand
they
know what
in
want
they're
there.
guys
looking
that are gonna
for.
help them win.
Right.
Absolutely. It comes you take the talent portion out of it sometimes, right? Because everybody you're going to recruit has the talent to be there,
Right.
right? Everybody can play, in lacrosse, everybody can play soccer. If you're getting recruited at this level, the talent portion comes out, right? It's the right people that you want, like you said, bringing them into your family, right?
Yeah.
It's so tight knit. We are spending a lot of time with our players, right? In the spring for us, in the fall for you, like so much of it's crucial to make sure that they're the right,
That
just
culture
good
piece.
people, right? And they're going to fit into your culture, and I love that. One of my stops along the way, we always ask the guys, "Hey, what'd you think of them?" After the visit,
Yep.
and it's definitely um important, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And in our, like, I'd like my Samuel and Weiss, I'd say are incredibly disciplined at,
Mhm.
like, at being, like, on the field, whatever, is like, yeah, he's really good. He'd probably help us, but, like, he's out. And
Yep,
it's like,
Yeah.
whereas other coaches you've been around to be like, ah, man, he's gonna help us. Like, you
you
maybe
bend a little bit,
Glance
like
over
yeah,
a
this.
yeah,
little bit,
yeah.
and it's, and obviously my last two bosses have influenced how I feel about it. And it's like, no, like, we saw him do this. He cussed out the ref after the game. Like, he's
Yep.
out,
See you later.
and
Yeah,
we're not gonna bend to it.
I love that.
How is recruiting kind of a two-parter in general for the sport changed over past 5, 10 years? But
Yeah,
for you, because you just said that, your past couple bosses have influenced how you're thinking and things like that and how you're going about it. But like in a two-parter, how has it changed as a sport?
yeah,
And then how is like your view on identifying somebody that can come to
yeah,
Georgetown play for you?
yeah. No, it's changed hugely, and The transfer portal has changed it
Right.
for a lot of programs. The international piece is so big. Men's soccer is a global sport, and so um,
Are we allowed to call it
it's
soccer?
what's that?
Are we allowed to call it soccer? I don't wanna get
Yeah,
yelled at. No,
um,
sorry.
exactly. But yeah, especially there were always a lot of internationals, and then when Marshall won it, and then when Vermont won it, and now it's
Right.
like everyone is looking for the 23, 24-year-old German. And I really think, and a lot of people in our shoes, that right now is probably the hardest time I've ever seen for an American high school kid,
Wow.
because you have the transfer portal,
Right.
which is like all of a sudden, the kid that was going to go to this place, they've now taken three grad students. And so now those are three less spots for the American high school kids. So now the kid that was going to go to the big time place, he's now maybe going to the other place. So now there's this huge trickle down, and you're seeing these kids that 8 years ago were for sure Division 1 players
Right.
that are going, to the top D to going to NESCAC or Centennial or UAA. So you have that, and then with the transfer portal stuff, and then you add in the internationals, and it's like, man, is it a hard time to be a high school
So many
senior or
people
junior.
fighting for just a few seats.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like funny in our seat here, because how Coach Weiss, builds it is we want the best high school kids
Right.
to
Right.
develop and learn from the older guys and then take over, and we're like, we'll take a guy who's been in our program for 3 or 4 years, who's 21, 22. We'll take him over the 24-year-old German or Brazilian
Right.
because he's been here for 3 years, even if
Yeah.
he's a year or
Yeah.
2
He's
younger.
been in the culture. You guys kinda molded him your way and
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
love that. I love
and
that.
and the problem for a couple years was there were a few kids here that left school early to go pro,
okay.
and now you're like, all right, well, now we have the 19-year-old American kid who's really good playing
Yeah.
against the 24-year-old German who's also really good,
Yeah.
and
Right,
that
right.
that was a difference. And now finally, I think we've caught back up a little bit, but we've almost, and there's some other schools, but like we're almost a little bit of the exception of like
Okay.
recruiting, the trying to really get the top 18-year-old high school kid. And we were laughing. We were at an ECNL event, which would be, I don't know, maybe like an Under Armour type thing for you
Yep,
guys,
sure.
in Florida in January. And just to give you an idea, it's a pretty good event. And there were there was us and one other Big East school. There was one ACC, which was SMU, and then there were zero from the Big Ten. And we
Wow.
were like, because they're probably in Europe, and you're
Right,
like, or
right.
or kind of on the portal, and you're like, wow, this is very different from 8 years ago when the sideline was, you know,
Jam-packed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's
Standing
still
room
packed,
only.
and but like I said, is like now we have our friends that are coaching at high level D3s, and they're like, this is
Right.
great. Like I would have
Yeah.
never gotten this
Yeah.
guy 8 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
So
so,
so the
yeah.
portal has really hit
Oh yeah.
Every
soccer as
sport.
well, right?
Yeah.
And
Huge.
truly every sport. And like we were talking about it on with another guest previously of like I don't know how hard it's gonna hit men's lacrosse,
Yeah.
especially like in Division 1, there's, not that many teams,
Right.
right? But you see more of the trickle down, and then now with the 5-and-5 and these things like that, like maybe maybe I'm being naive that it hasn't hit us so hard,
Yeah.
but to hear that sounded like a basketball answer almost,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
right?
think
Of
like,
like, I'm not recruiting like the high school kid because I can get the guy that showed me that he
yeah.
did it already at 2 years at college or something like that, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening more and more. And obviously, it's not like
Yeah.
it's basketball money or anything like that. But it's like, kids are
Kids are
looking.
kids.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's
It
I like, we say this anytime, like we have a camp or talking to a family, and you're like I really do think right now is the hardest time to be
wow.
an American high school kid because of the internationals and the
Yeah.
transfer.
And what about you personally? How
Yeah.
how is how has it changed for you?
I mean, I think like I've been at schools real and work for ed coaches that kind of believe in the model that I just described a little bit. So
Yeah.
it hasn't changed hugely for me in that way. I think as you do it more and more, I'd probably go back to what I say earlier is like you just want to be around kids that you like that are intrinsically motivated. And
Right.
it's like that's the difference maker in the long term. And it's like, you know, Coach Weiss has a saying that like sometimes recruiting is self-selecting. And so
Mm,
when we bring a kid on campus, like we don't really try to sell him on anything. It's just like this is who we are.
right,
Georgetown's a great school. It's in a great city. The team's been pretty good. We're going to take care of you, you know. And it's like,
right.
but we want guys that want to be here. And if you align with us, great. If you align with somewhere else, so be it. And it's a
So
Yeah.
little bit of like this self-selecting process. And we tell every single kid, which I didn't do when I was younger, for sure. Um,
the
we're like,
growing pains.
if you come here, it's gonna be hard. Like we
Yeah.
have a
Right.
good team. We have some older guys. There's competition in every single spot. 26 of our 28 guys believe that they're gonna be pros, and
Love
and
that.
and are pushing. And so it's like if you come here, it's gonna be hard. But you know, in year one, it might be harder than another place, but by year four, you're gonna be better off for it. And we lose some kids because of that, I'm sure.
Right. Right.
But I think the kids that we get, you're getting these, competitive SOBs that are like,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, like
Absolutely.
I
I
love
want
that.
that.
Like,
I
yeah,
want
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Sign
yeah,
me
and
up. Sign
and
me
I
up.
yeah, and I think early on, I wasn't really saying that as much, and it's like sometimes you're getting a kid that is
You
talented,
don't
but
want to scare him away and lose
yeah,
the talent. But
100%,
now
and
you're like, well, we got the talent. If you want to jump on board, you better be ready to ring that bell.
exactly, and I have a funny story from that end. We have, it's a positive story, so I'll use his name, but we had a kid, Troy Elgersma, um, who we had recruited at American, and he was this, we saw him his junior year. He's like 5'10", 120, but he's good, and he has a
Yeah.
brain, and his team's really good. And then see him again, and 6 months later, he's like 6'2", still super skinny, but like same brain, same feet.
Right.
And now, I'm like, Sam, I really like this kid, and he watches him. He's like, I like him too. Like, bring him to campus, and Samuel spends the entire time telling him how he's not going to play his first year, and he might not play his second year because of the depth in the spot. And
Right.
he leaves the office, and I'm like, oh my god, like I really
We
want
Right.
this kid. Like, what, like there's a chance he play, like whatever. And he's like, well, we'll see. We'll see what he's made of, and eventually he commits and like comes in, and of course there's an injury, and he
Yeah.
plays it,
Starts
a
and
shit
yeah,
ton of
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he plays a
He
ton of
gives you a grin like, "Hey, see, I told you I was gonna
Yeah,
play."
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And you're like, well, this kid has this self belief. And then sophomore year, he's pretty good. Junior year is the attacking player of the year. Senior year, he's the
Wow.
player of the year. And then he just signed with the LA Galaxy in the MLS, and he's been
Love
playing a
that.
little bit. And you're like, well, that kid's made of the right stuff. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like he
Right.
just really is.
And you told him, hey, I don't, or you told him straight up, I don't know if you're going to get any time here at the beginning.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, watch me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And I
feel
was
like
like, you probably could have phrased that like it's going to be hard, but we
a
believe
little
in you,
nice.
instead of just telling him how hard it was going to be. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. That's it. I love it. I
yeah,
mean, but that's
But
that's the
that's
kid you want.
yeah.
That's the player you want on your team. You want the kid that goes, it's hard, perfect.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Put me down for double just in case I want seconds. You know what I mean? I love that. I love that.
That's pretty sweet.
That's outstanding.
I'm becoming more and more of a soccer fan as this show goes on, because I'm like, that's a dude right there. And if you're saying you got 28 of those guys,
Yeah, right. Absolutely. We're gonna have to come down there and check it out.
for
Live.
sure.
It's awesome. And then honestly, like we always go back to it, when it's the hardest thing for coaches, especially the head coach. But like, I mean, you guys are in the same boat. There's 11 starters. We have 28 guys on the team. You're like,
Right.
naturally 17 kids are going to be pissed.
Right. Yep.
17 families are going to look at you a little bit differently at the end of the game. And it's,
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
it's like, you kind of want that, like, because they want to play and all that. And
Yeah.
as long as they're handling it the right way. But,
For
when a
sure.
guy comes in the office and does an individual session, it's like just these little reminders of like, hey, like, it's okay. Like, we told you it was going to be hard. It is hard.
Absolutely.
This guy's really good. You are too. You're just a little bit younger. Let's not focus on how many minutes you're getting in the game. Let's focus on getting a little bit better every single day.
Right.
And if something happens, or if you're playing really well, like, guess what? the other stuff will take care of itself.
Yeah, don't just prepare for that 1 or 2 minutes or however many minutes you might get in the game. Prepare to play the whole thing, and let's get you there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
That's unbelievable. That's so. All right. So recruiting again, like you said. So like we talked before we started the show, we're on the road now recruiting, right? We're this is our the summertime is when it's it, right? I mean, there's events every day, every place. There's a lacrosse field. There's probably a tournament going on with a college coach next to it. When is like the recruiting window for soccer?
Yeah, it's interesting when I tell people this, that sometimes they fall out of their chair. So we don't have any dead periods other than like the day before or day after signing day.
Wow.
And
No
so,
way.
yeah, so we don't have any dead periods.
Huh.
Which is it's almost like when I talk to our lacrosse coaches or to the basketball guys, it's almost in a way like better because then it's like, you kind of have your natural breaks in it, and
Yep.
then
Yeah.
Yep.
versus when you guys have your live period, it's like, "This is it," like, every
Yeah,
single
we
game.
gotta
We
go.
gotta hit it.
Yeah,
Get in
yeah,
the car. Let's go. We're going.
yeah. So we have like our main events will be like right after the season in,
Yeah.
December, January. And then there's some stuff through kind of February, March, and then it kicks back up April, May, June.
Okay.
It's a lot of stuff was a little bit earlier this year because of the World Cup. So people
Oh,
kind of
right, right, right.
bump their stuff up, but that's usually it. And then camps, some camps late June, July, and then we're
You
back
guys
in.
are in it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So there is no time off. I love that. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
That's
That's
nuts.
wild. That
I
is crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, I like when we get that. We got one in July, and it's perfect. It's right the 4th is in the middle of it,
Yeah.
and there's no tournaments. You don't feel guilty that like, "Oh,
That's true.
I'm not here," or there's no contact of anything. When's your guys', like, initial contact day? Because ours is September 1. So
Yeah.
it's like not only are we back to school, back to practice, now we're trying to find guys 2
Yeah.
years out.
Yeah, it all hits you, right? Yeah, so we're June 15th. So actually yesterday,
Okay.
coach and I, we were going through all the
Oh, boy.
28s that we wanna make sure we hit, and, so we're June 15th, we can start talking, to 28s, and then, August 1st is when they can start coming to campus, um and I in our sport, it's kids will wanna visit and make sure,
Yep.
for the you get, maybe a couple strange ones, but I know in women's soccer is like between, June 15th, June 16th, June 17th, you'll have 100 kids will commit without any
Wow.
visits, and,
Wow.
teams will deadline them and things like that. So fortunately that in men's soccer, like, most kids are gonna wanna visit and meet the team and
Right.
see campus and all that good stuff. So we're holding
You're getting
holding
into
on
the
to that.
thick of it.
Yeah. You guys get ready. Buckle up. Right.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a question that I want to so I ask every single person that comes on the show, no matter the sport, and he always gives me grief about it. He's like, "Can you just switch it up?" But no, I'm not gonna switch it up. I need to know, take me back to give me a loss that still haunts you. And
Oof.
then on the positive side, give me a win that like you randomly will think about like cooking breakfast. You're like, "Oh, that was sweet."
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I would say I mean, the one that haunts me, which I'm sure I think about a lot more than the win, is is,
How it
Oh
goes.
yeah. Absolutely. It's
yeah, yeah,
exactly how it goes.
is, AU. Gosh, what would it have been? Um, Gosh, 2023, I think it was. We had a good team. Like, we had won the league, we had been to 3 finals in a row, like, we were
Wow.
good, bunch of good
Yeah.
seniors,
Yeah.
kind of our first almost full cycle of guys, um, and we had, I think, tied a couple games we shouldn't have, and so our seeding was a little bit lower in the Patriot League tournament, and then we go to, what do we do? I think we win 2 sorry, we went on the road, and then we have to go to Lafayette, which was a, tough field. I mean,
Yeah.
thick grass. Our sport's funny
Right.
because, I mean, you guys deal with it a little bit too, but I'm like, in my next life, I'm coaching an indoor sport. Like, the
Oh
amount
yeah.
I say
like
that
Oh
all the
yeah.
time.
grass, weather,
Oh, everything.
everything
Everything.
affected
Everything.
is like,
All of it.
but so yeah, hard place to play, and we go, and we actually, it's like I don't think we had gotten a red card in like 4 years. Get a red card, so we go down a man in the first half,
Oh,
Oh,
and
nice.
then
beautiful.
That's when you want
somehow we
those.
go up 2-1 late and give up a late corner kick goal, of course, and then
Oh,
they beat us in PKs, and you're like,
Oh,
God, we had such like I think if we had won that, we could have maybe done some damage in the NCAA tournament, but it's like
right.
wasn't meant to be.
It's one of those
Um,
cliffhanger games, right?
yeah, yeah, and so many what ifs too, and
Yeah.
yeah, oh, of course, yeah.
but you learn from it, and then
Give me a
Absolutely.
happy one. Give me a
yeah.
happy one.
Yeah, turn it around. Come on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotta make sure we can end on a good note.
Yeah.
God, I mean, I think I'll go back to my first, my second year coaching at Georgetown as young volunteer is in the Final Four. We play Maryland, and it is
Okay.
like known as possibly the craziest soccer game of all time. Like they're loaded, we're pretty loaded. I think there were 16 pros on the field,
Wow.
um, and it's like it's we go up think we go up 3-1, then it's 3-2, we go up 4-2, then they tie it 4-4 in a Final Four game,
Oh,
and then
Jesus.
goes to PKs. We beat them in PKs, and obvious
Wow.
and Georgetown and Maryland was a huge rivalry, but,
Sure.
the 2 schools hadn't really been scheduling each other much in sports dating back to, like, Big John Thompson days. Basketball teams hadn't played in 20 years and all
Wow.
this even though we're 8 miles apart,
Right.
and
Right.
so that game was, you're
Oh
like,
my God.
wow, in the Final Four, and afterwards in the hotel, Coach Weiss gets a voicemail from a number he doesn't recognize, and it's Big John Thompson, rest in peace, with his deep
Yeah.
voice, and he's saying, "Man, Coach, I know you don't know me, but like, thank God you beat those MFers from Maryland." That's all I gotta say. Like that
That's
was it. You're
outstanding.
like, all right, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That is
Yeah,
so cool. That's a see, that makes it all worth it. See, my
yeah.
question's not that bad.
No, it's a great question. It's
It's
just,
not that
it's
bad.
all right.
It's not that
We'll let
bad.
him keep
You
asking it,
get
I
a good
guess.
history lesson. Like I gotta go find that game.
It's
I
not.
will be watching that game tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
some like there's a couple like stupid goals where you're like, "What?" Like these are Final Four teams, and then there's a
Right.
couple like big time goals that you're like, "Okay."
Okay,
Okay,
these are
there we
Final
go.
Four
There we
teams.
go.
Yeah.
I got another one here. What's if you could put a pause on today and go back to before you put on the whistle around your neck, right? Looking back, what's a piece of advice that you would give yourself?
Hmm, that's interesting. Um, I mean, like I feel like early on I'd let the recruit I'd take a recruit going elsewhere like pretty personally.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'd be like,
Absolutely.
"Man, I put in a lot of time with this kid. I thought we had a great visit, and I thought this, and I thought that, and man," and it's like, take it like right into the heart when he goes elsewhere, and
Right.
I'm like, now you're like, look, there's so many outside factors.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, people, there's some schools that you're like, the kid just aligns with it. Like it's
Right.
just what it
Yeah.
is. And there's so many things outside of your control. So I think it's like now, like I said earlier, it's like you tell the kid and the family who you are and what you're all about and what you want your team to be. And that's all you can do. And if they come, great. And if they don't, then it kind of is what it is at this point.
Still got to go to work.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just for any young assistant coaches out there that are listening, what's something that a young assistant coach should start doing? And then on the flip side, what should they stop doing? Like whatever you think, whatever you suggest,
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing as far as starting is like you got to get your reps on the field. And that's
Right.
club team, that's camp, that's, taking guys out for extra work. And it's,
Mhm.
the head coach is naturally going to run a lot of the stuff in training and obviously with you go offense, defense type of stuff or, in our sport, it's, back four or center mids or attacking players. It's like you 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 gotta I mean, that's where you gotta really develop yourself because the big game stuff is gonna be run by the head coach and
Right.
so I think is anytime you can get your coaching reps, that's where you gotta do it. You gotta do it and spend time taking guys out and doing things like that, and forming those relationships. And then as far as stop doing, gosh, honestly, I've seen it a lot is like forming your opinion based
Yep.
on what other people are saying. And so
Okay.
it's like
Okay.
so because their program is not our program.
Right.
And, let's whatever use whoever we recruit against a lot. Notre Dame is like Notre Dame his play style couldn't be more different from ours. And so it's like two great schools, two great staff, so two great teams, all this stuff,
Mhm.
but it's like the kids that we're recruiting a lot of times are pretty different. And so, um, and I'll see young coaches or I'll hear them and they'll be like, well, this kid is looking at here, here, and here, and this, and so he must be good. And it's like, well, he still might not be good for us,
Right.
regardless of where he's looking. And it's like you got to trust your eye and you got to trust what you see, and then you got to look for those little details because someone else might not be looking. Look for their reactions when the ball turns over. Look for how do they handle their teammates when they get subbed off? How do they handle their coach, the ref, their parents after the game? Are they
Yep.
are
Yep.
they doing those? Yeah, because it's like, all right, like that's where you're winning and losing really is kind of those kind of inflection points. And so I think trusting yourself and what you see and listening less to what other schools he's looking at or what other
Right.
people think of him or where he's ranked is like, we
It's
got
all
guys coming
noise.
in our
It's all
yeah, we got
noise.
yeah, we got guys coming in our 26 class that are ranked below, you know, some kids that you're like, okay, but it's like I don't really care. It's like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they're pretty good and they're good kids. So there you go.
There
Well,
you
it
go.
goes back to what you said earlier about it's
People you want
hard
to
to
be
play
around.
there, and you want to have guys that you want around you,
Yep.
and then they've doesn't matter how many stars or whatever they have next to their name. If they fit you and your culture and your team, they're going to be set up for the best possible
And you got
success.
and you gotta trust that. You gotta trust that.
I'm a soccer fan.
Yeah.
I'm a soccer fan. I'm in it. I'm in it. Um, yeah, I think one kind of deep question, right? That I want to read off perfectly, so I don't mess this up. To wrap up here, I've really enjoyed this
Yeah. This has
conversation.
been awesome.
But you've coached at several stops, volunteer, associate head coach, back to Georgetown. When your players that you've coached or just people that you've worked with in general look back at your career, uh, what do you hope they say was like one of your biggest impacts on them?
Yeah. Nah, that's a great question. I mean I hope they say like he was honest. He was hard on me when he needed to be, but deep down, like he's a good dude. And and he's
Right.
he's got my back. And I trust that guy. And so it's like it's pretty cool, as a coach when you get a couple like wedding invitations.
Right.
Right.
You're like,
Absolutely.
nice. All
Not
right.
only
Like
does it make you feel old, but you're like,
yeah.
wow, they actually
They
did think I
listen.
was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah,
Right.
think I
yeah,
was cool.
yeah, you're like, but as a coach, you're a teacher
Yeah.
deep
Absolutely.
down, and they see us on campus more than any other kind of adult, really.
Hmm.
They see us way more than their professors or than whoever, and so having that impact on their life is a big reason why I think we all get into this. And so it's like, how do you help the 18-year-old boy turn into a 22-year-old man by the end of it, and make sure that one day he's hopefully a good husband or a good father or whatever it
Right.
is, and use
Absolutely.
sport and use the lessons through sport and life, and getting a great degree to set someone's family up for success. But it's like you hope that, and by the end of it, almost every guy does is like, they're thankful you were hard on them that one morning, or they're thankful
Yep.
that you subbed them out when they, were a shitty teammate, when they got or whatever is like, once they can kind of look back on that, they're like, they love that stuff.
Awesome.
Amen to that, man.
Awesome.
That's perfect.
Mike, this has been awesome. We were so excited to get on this podcast with you and have you on as a guest. And we thank you very much. This has been great.
Yeah, I will definitely be tuning into plenty
Absolutely.
plenty of Georgetown soccer games
I
now.
love it. ESPN Plus now. We're on ESPN Plus
I
now. so
love
there
it.
you go.
Let's go.
I
Let's
can't
go. I've
wait.
seen it on there. Let's
I
go.
can't wait. It's gonna be my new fall thing.
Absolutely.
It's my
Absolutely.
new
And then
fall thing.
you got the World Cup coming up to make sure
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
tactically astute. You see what all the big time teams are doing.
Oh
It'll be
yeah, I'm
good.
I'm gonna start doing some homework.
Oh,
I
yeah.
might
Yeah.
I might make a few spreadsheets,
Yeah, get it
right?
going. Get it going. We're gonna
Get
whiteboard
the
going.
terminology down, and so I don't want to be a novice when it comes time for season. We're gonna win this thing, right,
Yeah,
Coach?
absolutely. Let's do it.
We're gonna win this thing.
Awesome.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
Absolutely.
teaching us
Yeah,
and
100%.
all those out there that are going to be listening to it. And yeah, man, you definitely got a fan here.
Two
Yeah,
fans.
thanks to you guys. This was awesome, and like I said, I've been listening, so I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, and happy to help with whatever. So
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Best
Thank
of
you.
luck. We'll talk soon. Thank you.